This is the TSG Multimedia podcast for October of 2019. We're sponsored this month by Podomatic, TrainLife.com, and the TSG Train Crew on Patreon. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching. I'm your host, John Abaticola. September really closed out the summer with a bang, providing a lot of opportunities for new and exciting content. Before I talk about that, though, I want to thank the TSG Train Crew members on Patreon, whose support made an emergency purchase of some live streaming equipment possible for last weekend's TSG Live Crew Lounge pilot episode. If you've been thinking about signing up on Patreon, there's no time like the present. Your support gets you access to previews, behind-the-scenes information, and even exclusive content in some cases. I think there's value in promoting model railroading and preserving history, and your support is what it will take to get this channel to the next level. So please consider that if you have a couple bucks a month to spare. To make a long story short, I was busy with pre-production and production events for about a third of the month, which gave me just enough post-production time to get a few programs into the schedule. So here's how that went. On the first of the month, we went to cover Rail Fair at Ardenwood in Fremont, which I always say is one of the best events in the Bay Area, especially for families and for people who have little kids. I'm working on a great new and improved program about that event, and I really can't wait to share it. I had a production day with Jason Hill of Owl Mountain Models on the 2nd of September, and we actually recorded for 3 upcoming programs that you're not going to want to miss. Jason is one of the guys that I've talked about in the past who not only produces products for model railroaders, but he is also a very talented and accomplished modeler himself. So he has insight to what modelers need or want when he's making his models for Owl Mountain Models. Sydney and I went to help Dave Connery at his garden layout on the 3rd of September. He was open for the Narrow Gauge Convention's open house day that day. Dave has a garden layout and also an indoor HO scale layout, and he's quite an amazing modeler as well, as you can see from these photos. On September 6th, we went to cover a private special event at the Niles Canyon Railway, where they were celebrating what I'm going to call the actual completion of the Transcontinental Railroad. It's a fairly less known fact that May 10th is arguably not really the actual date of completion for the Transcon. The link that connected the Transcon from ocean to ocean happened in September in Niles Canyon, and that's what they were celebrating. The very next day, I went back to Niles Canyon again, this time with Kevin Hill, to go chase the doubleheader they were running as part of their 150th anniversary summer celebrations. They double-headed the Clover Valley number 4, which is a 2662T, and the visiting Skookum 2442 articulated steamer for a rare Mallee doubleheader. And when I say rare, that's really what I mean, because I've been told that there are only 3 Mallees in North America, and 2 of them were in Niles Canyon that day, making it the only place in the entire country, or in the whole of North America, where you could have seen such a thing. So that was kind of cool, and there's a Chasing Trains episode that will come out from that, having met a bunch of other friends in the canyon that day. On Sunday, we made a trip out to Sacramento to see our friend George Bogatuk, who was in town for the Narrow Gauge Convention that I was talking about a minute ago. Well, there, we met up with Gary, and we all went to see a couple of layouts north of Sacramento that are owned by a guy named Noel Wilson. I've been talking to Noel about doing layout tours of his garden and HO scale layouts, so he invited us over to check them out. That way I'd know what I would be up against when we go back to do the layout tour videos. And they're pretty cool layouts. You can tell that they've been there for a long time, especially the garden one, because it's really grown in. It's very nice. The next weekend, it was out to a place called Morada to make a layout tour of Dave Stanley's Morada Belt HO scale layout. It's a nice layout too. Big thanks to Dave and his friends Jerry and Pat, who have also helped with key structures on his layout. That layout tour is likely to be released either in December or January. We also had a chance while we were there to see Don Richter's garden layout just around the corner from Dave. And that also will make a great layout tour sometime in the future. So super huge thanks to Dave and Shirley, his wife, as well, for being really great hosts. We had a great time and hope to see you real soon again. On Sunday that weekend, we attended a get-together at Jack Burgess's house for what's called YV Weekend. The original plan was to ride the YV 330, which is a historic piece of Yosemite Valley equipment that's been under restoration for years now. Those plans kind of fell through at the last minute, so it was an open house at Jack's layout instead. Great fun, friends that I haven't seen in over a year, and also friends that came to the open house with us, including John Wiley, Robin Gilstrom, Murph, and Kevin and Curtis Hill as well. Thanks for sharing your layout with everyone, Jack. I know that you enjoy sharing it, and I also know that all of us enjoyed it a lot as well. So thank you so much. I met with Seth Newman for a project that he wanted some video help with, and also went to Hollister to get some help from Curtis Hill just prior to the main event of this month, which was the TSG Live Crew Lounge panel discussion program. I mentioned this program on the last podcast. Originally, I had intended to produce this program using OBS, which is software that's free for the computer. But on the Monday prior to the event, the computer that I needed to use kind of pooped out. So I took it to the Apple Store, but they couldn't have it fixed in time for the upcoming show. So I had to order a different video mixer and learn how to use it that same week. This was extraordinarily stressful because my forte really is traditional production, where you record something and then edit on the computer and then publish it. Live is a very different kind of workflow. In any case, I got what I needed, and despite a few problems toward the beginning of the show, it turned out really great. The panelists enjoyed themselves a lot, and the viewers also seemed to like it quite a bit. I have to mention that Gary was nice enough to make his matching donation like he offered to for the equipment that I mentioned last month. So this is your huge thanks, Gary. Really appreciate it. Your help is recognized and greatly appreciated. I want to mention the new design in the TSG swag store on Teespring is doing pretty well. Don't be surprised if you end up seeing someone wearing one of these on your adventures. And what I'm talking about is the Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit of Trains. I even ordered a sample one for myself too. So if you're watching on a computer, just click one of these links below the view screen and check out what's there. It's another way that you can help me bring the programs that you like to the channel by supporting with a purchase of one of these TSG branded apparel or phone cases or whatever you find in there that you like. So anyway, we're taking a trip out to the Denver area this month to meet our new top secret niece that was just born last month. And while we're there, we'll most definitely go to the Colorado Railroad Museum in Greeley. And if I'm lucky, I'll have time to do a layout tour there. I've only heard the best things about the museum and the people there, and also had a chance to meet the director, as well as some of the other people that work at the museum or volunteer at the NMRA National Convention. So it should be a great time. If all goes according to plan, Shakalaka Bro Alvin is going to meet us out there, so that'll be a huge added bonus. Speaking of the NMRA National Convention, my video that covered that convention came out last weekend on the same day when we did the live panel discussion show, and I want to invite you, if you haven't already, to go back and watch both if you missed them. The NMRA video is one of my best productions of the year, I think. Or should I say it's one that I'm most proud of this year. Of course, there are a lot of other things in the works for October, including some volunteering, a layout tour, and some operating session opportunities. But the trip to Colorado, I think, is the biggest, travel event in the month, and really looking forward to it. I have some important announcements to make with the upcoming schedule, so let's get to that now. This Wednesday, the 9th, we have a layout tour remaster. On Friday the 11th, I have plans to share one of the programs I recorded with Jason Hill last month. On Saturday, October 12th, it's the HO Scale Fremo Modular Group from the National Train Show in Salt Lake City last July. This is a really cool layout tour, and I know you're going to like it, so don't miss that one. On Wednesday, the 16th, we have another layout tour remaster. And then that same week, on the 19th, that's Saturday, it's Chasing Trains with Sparky 107 Part 2. This one documents the second half of Dave's epic railroading adventures in California with yours truly. On Wednesday the 23rd, I present the next how-to video with a DCC installation on an Amtrak F59 PHI by Athearn. I haven't been working on models as much as I'd like to because I've been so busy with everything else, but I did manage to squeeze this one in, and it has a surprise ending too, so you won't want to miss that. Something else a little different for me is that this is an HO scale model and not N scale, which is what I've been doing mostly. On Saturday the 26th, Model Railroading with Jack Burgess returns with an episode about lessons learned in the hobby in Jack's decades-long journey. Sunday the 27th is the next installment of TSG Live Crew Lounge. In this episode, we'll be live again with a panel discussion about prototype modeling, proto-lance modeling, and freelancing. The show starts at 4 p.m. Pacific time, and we plan to go for about an hour, just like last time. This is a really great opportunity for you to ask questions and get insight from some very knowledgeable and experienced people, so try not to miss it. We're already getting a lot of comments and topics and suggestions, and people are excited about this program, and I am too, because I've wanted to do this program or a program like this for a long time. So if you enjoy it too, share it with your friends. Having as many live viewers, likes, and conversation in the live chat window helps make it more visible on YouTube. And if you miss the show, don't worry. The goal is to share information, and whether it's viewed live or later, the information will still be there. And then finally, on the 30th, I plan to release another layout tour remaster. So that's on a Wednesday. So those are all the scheduled programs. In addition to what I've already mentioned here, I also have some products on deck for Product Spotlight and N-Scale Friday programs. It'll be a real push to get them recorded before leaving for Colorado, but I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get most of them done. So I don't have really a lot of events to mention this month, but there is one on the very first weekend of November that I'm going to mention right now, because by the time it's happening, it'll be time for the next podcast. It's one of my favorite events of the year, and it's the SBHRS Fall Open House. It's happening November 2nd and 3rd, and you can get more info about it at sbhrs.org. There's two large model railroad layouts, one in HO scale and one is N scale. There's a store with thousands of items you can buy, from model trains to books to photos to other memorabilia. The interlocking tower is usually open for tours, as well as the business car that's being restored there. There's a lot to do and see at the SBHRS Open House, and I think I read something about they're having advanced tickets available online. So that should make it easier to go if you want to. Again, it's sbhrs.org. So take a look and get your tickets now. I want to invite you one more time to become a member of the TSG Train Crew on Patreon. The Patreon page helps me bring the high quality content you enjoy to the channel. And if you can help out with $2 a month or more, head over to patreon.com/TSG Multimedia and find out what kind of behind the scenes stuff that the train crew enjoys. $2 a month really isn't much, but if enough people do it, it'll add up, and it all goes to support the content that you enjoy. Something else I found out that I want to share is that you can join the train crew with a custom amount by scrolling all the way down past the levels that I set up and selecting custom amount. It's right here at the bottom of the page. So if you don't want 2, 5, 10, 25 or any of the others, just go down there and make a custom amount. I thank you in advance. And I always say this, but I mean it. You're the best viewers on YouTube, and I thank you all for your continued support. I'll see you next time. This episode is all about lessons Jack has learned in the for f***'s sake, in the cobble. It's very coolie.